Hi folks, I'm Samik and today I'm going to walk you through the demo as well as how to integrate OAuth into your MCP server. I'm using BetterAuth because I have already set up my Google login and social logins, email credentials, my database. Everything was synced with BetterAuth, and BetterAuth has a plugin called MCP, and we can integrate and we can provide our application as a OAuth provider to the MCP clients. That means you don't need to integrate any third party tools to allow your application as an MCP client. I have not hosted it in Vercel right now, but I will host it in the future and I will also give you the feedback regarding that. Right now, everything was tested locally so that you know how to run MCP servers locally and test it using Vercel, using Vercel's ecosystem. So this is what we have done. Now let's get back to the demo. So before understanding that, I need to walk you through the official documentation from the BetterAuth. You can see you have to install the plugin. So wherever your plugin, so let me hook up my cursor, for example. Okay, so let me show you. So this was my auth server. So you can see this was my auth server, and I had to get my MCP plugin from BetterAuth plugins. And after that, in the BetterAuth initialization, we need to give MCP and our login page will be sign in. Why sign in? This is the login page, which is in your application. Whenever we use Google Auth, for example, OAuth for our login, right? What we do? We go to Google and sign in. Similar way, we have to give our own sign in page, and whatever your sign in page route should be, that should be hooked up here directly. You don't need to edit the client, you just need to edit the server with the route of the sign in page. Once you are done with this, okay, this was our documentation. Once you are done with this, you need to generate schema. Now, if there is no error with your particular schema, you can always generate schema like this. And for example, you have already have a setup in your existing item. So if you do this, this will throw an error. And let me show you what error it might throw. Let me open a new window. Okay, so if you do this, you will see that it will throw an error because right now I'm using import server only tag. Even if I remove it, there are different errors. Okay, let me walk you through again. So you can see different errors are thrown, right? So what we need to do, we you can do is that you can hook up another Next.js project and you can just generate directly. So what it will do, it will create a auth.ts files in your root like library route, and then you can copy the existing tables which you need for MCP setup. So what I have done, and this is the hack which you can also use to set up BetterAuth. So you can see I have created schema. So let me go back to the schema, my schema of my application. So what are the applications you need? So this is not needed. This was my custom application. So yes, OAuth application, OAuth access taken, OAuth consent. These three tables are required. So if you need this code, you will get this in description. Don't worry about that. So you can just follow along what I am explaining. So you need these three tables, and again you have to export these three entities, and after that you have to link it in your auth like what we have in the database. So for example, this was plugin, this was another function, and you can see for database schema, we had to link our entity here directly. So you can see I have imported the entities directly, the schema directly. So this is what you have to do after you have done the database setup, you have done the BetterAuth integration. Now what you need to do? So I'm assuming you have API. Let me go to API for you guys. Okay, so this is the API route, and you can see this is the auth, and whatever you had done, it was like this. Only you were requesting get in post, but also you need to add these options. Otherwise, your MCP client will throw an error and it will not connect. So in the response for the options, you need to give this particular item access control, allow origin, all origin should be allowed, all header, all methods should be allowed, and then all allowed header should be content type and authorization. So this is what you need to do after you have done this particular setup. Now let's come back to because this is missing in the documentation. And after you have done this, you need to add this route. So you can see I have done the same thing. I have done this one. But with this, you need to also set up one another well-known path, and that is OAuth protected resource. And if you go to this route, just copy this. Like again, I will give this GitHub repository in the description, or if you're watching in Twitter, just comment MCP OAuth and I will DM it to you. So you can see this content type application JSON, access allow origin options, and then again, this is important. For headers, we need to give MCP protocol version as well. And you can see for authorization server, what exactly is our server URL. So if you have hosted this in another application, for example, you need to give that URL, and for our URL, and that is localhost 3000, right? So it should be the origin itself. And again, for resources, it should be the origin itself. If you miss any of this path, and it will throw an error, and it is very hard to catch if you don't debug it well. And I have made like my whole day to work on this particular setup, and yeah, this is missing from the official documentation, and this is one of the important piece which is important. And I had wasted a lot of my cloud tokens just because of this application. And then after I have gone through the other documentation, other technical stack, and then I got to know that I need to give this route and I need to give. So it was all hidden trial. So if you are getting this video, you are getting the real source. And after that, we have the transport route. So yes, this is actually as per the Vercel's documentation, and this is completely again what I am assuming. This is completely you can also skip. So what we actually need, we need to use with MCP auth and auth requirement session. So this particular line is important, and after that, whatever response we are giving in, that is all just an adapter. Like you can see MCP adapter. So what I had done, like in my previous implementation for MCP, I will show you what I had done. Okay, so initially in my application, if you go like in the previous videos where I had talked about, I have created my own. I have not used any Vercel adapter. I just gave my own response. So this was done. So let me just show you the. Okay, you can say this is the post request I was sending, and after that you can see for I was authenticating request from the API key which was I was generating from my database schema. But the problem with this particular application is that we are not using our with MCP auth. So I just moved it to MCP -1 so that I can debug it later on and I can use the official documentations process. So what I have created an API route, then I've created transport and then route. So for localhost API MCP, it will first of all come here and it will check whether we have the auth or not. If there is no auth, it will return this URL, like the protected resource. Not it will not return the protected resource. MCP clients know what is protected resource and they will directly get protected resource. So that's why it is important. We need to set it like this. So if there is no auth, then we do that. If there is auth, then we return the MCP handler. So this is nothing but the post of this particular application. You can see. After you have done the So I will just test it out tomorrow again and I will tell you whether this is working or not. If this works, you can use this. If this doesn't work, you cannot use Vercel's MCP adapter. So it is completely optional. And MCP adapter is really nice thing, in my opinion, because it really abstracts the overall view. And with that, what we have created, if there is no auth, we need to do all these steps. If there is auth, then it is very simple. We just return the MCP handler. And right now it is just a echo a message. Then nothing much. And after you have done, you can see after and another method which MCP like the documentation also mentions, and that is you can always get api.get MCP session and get headers, and then if not session, then we return 401. This is an custom implementation, and if you don't want custom implementation, you can use with MCP auth directly. This is the function you have to use. And this is it. This is BetterAuth's real implementation in MCP. Now comes our main part, and that is testing. Okay, let's see our testing. So first of all, you need to hook up MCP inspector. The first step to always check and test, and that is MCP inspector. So always go to your command line CLI and always use this command, and that is npx model context protocol. So if I zoom it for you guys, okay, let me, so you can see npx model context protocol. So this is the URL which you have to give, and it will start the MCP inspector. So this is, you cannot go directly to 6274 localhost. You need to use the MCP proxy auth. So follow this link, command plus click, and it will directly go to your browser. And once you are here, you need to give URL, and for URL you need to localhost MP API MCP. So you can see our slug was transport, but you need to give MCP. Even if we give SSE, it should work. And let me clear the auth state. So this is what you will get. So whenever you are, let me show you. So this is the initial page you will have. I will suggest inspect it and open the network tab to see what request MCP inspector is sending. If there is an error, you can debug it easily. And this is the URL, so which was like the authorization servers. So what exactly it returns? So you can see it returns 4 endpoint, that is authorization endpoint, and then we have the token endpoint, and after that we have the user info endpoint and similar. The most important endpoints are authorization and token endpoint. If there is an issue with this type of endpoints, we are cooked. And these are the scopes which actually registers our application. So if when you are registering, when you're testing with MCP inspector, you need to take care of one particular thing, and that is the scope. And I will show you what happens in the scope. So right now, your application is the application which is providing the OAuth credentials. So you need to be logged in into the same browser where your application is logged in. If you're not logged in, then you need to sign in that browser. So that's why it is important. Similar to like Google sign in, if you are not signed in that browser with your Google credentials, you will be asked to log in again if you're using OAuth credentials for any website. Now let's get back to the testing. And when it comes to the testing, we need to not connect. If you do this connect, okay, right now it is not throwing an error, and it is just connecting. It just connected because our OAuth, all the things were configured. But I will show you the error. For example, if you had done this, it should have thrown error here. So right now, I'm not sure whether this will throw an error. So you can see connection error, check your MCP. So this route is very, very, very important. And okay. So this route is very, very, very important. And for testing each and every step, I had tested each and every step, and that's why the final result was so smooth. But if you don't have each and every step, go to the OAuth settings, open OAuth settings, and if there's already OAuth setup, clear OAuth state, and then go to quick auth flow. After you are here with quick auth flow, go to metadata discovery. So it just continue. So let me clear the item for you guys. So what you need to take. So when I send metadata discovery, first of all, it gets the protected resource, and you can see it gets the resource and the authorization server. So you can see localhost 3000, localhost 3000. And after that, it gets the authorization server. And authorization servers issues what is issuer, what is authorization endpoint, what is token endpoint, what is JWKS, URL, registration endpoint, and then scopes, everything related to MCP. So you can see we got our metadata. Now we need to do client registration. Client registration is nothing but our MCP inspector here. So you can see I'm sending the API. So let me just do this for you guys. So I'm sending this post request, and it has given me the response. So this was the response. Client ID was given, client secret was given, issued ID is given, client secret expires given, redirect URL is also given. And after that, I need to prepare authorization. And also you can test these items here directly. So let me just clip this one for you guys. Okay. So you can see what exactly was sent as it is like information, and this is the same thing, just matching here and there. After we have done, we need to prepare authorization. So if you click this, you have shown when I click connect, it connected automatically. But if I have not click connect, and if I have gone directly, it will give me BetterAuth error. So why exactly did this happen? So I will just hook up my terminal and show you the error process. So you can see invalid scope, offline access is not available. So this is one of the error which also wasted a lot of my time, and that was invalid scope. And if you are using MC Inspector, what you need to do, just copy this URL, paste it here, and make sure to not include the offline access right now. So you will get the token. Just copy this token and then paste it here. It is just checking each and every step, each and every. Now you can see it was authenticated. Now we will do token request, and that is this URL. And if you do this, we did the token request. You can see the access token, and once we are done, we are connected. So right now, if I click connect, you can see I'm connected. So let me go to resources. Okay, tools, list tools. We have echo message. Yeah, we did it. Yeah, we did it. So this is all about BetterAuth MCP OAuth. This is the ultimate and the final guide which you need to test your MCP application. And let me show you one more thing. Now, if I am in Cursor and if I want to hook up this particular application, so I will go to the Cursor settings, go to again tools and integration. This is my tool, tweet tool, and I will just again give okay. First, let me log out first. I need I need logged out. Now, when for example I'm using this URL, okay, tweet tool URL. I just given this URL, and you can see if I do this, I need login. If I log in, open cursor, and if I go back to my cursor account, you can see cursor retrieval extension to open this URL. It is opening this, and I am logged in, and this is it. The OAuth setup. I have not tested this in Cloud. Let me also test this for SEC, like what we had. So let me test this for SEC whether we can do this or not. And SEC is not working. We have errors with SEC. Let's see what exactly errors we have with SEC to understand where we are making mistake. Okay, preparing authorization. I think the most probably the issue is not with the SEC, but we don't have any SEC configuration, and that's where the issue is thrown most probably, and that is my hypothesis. And let me show, like, the authentication process is working fine, so there is no problem with authentication. The only problem with is connect, like this route doesn't exist, SEC route doesn't exist, MCP exists, and MCP will get connected. Yes, this is connected. You can see MCP is getting connected, SEC is not, so be aware of that. And then let's go to Cloud Desktop, and let's try with Cloud Desktop also whether our local host is working or not, and whether what errors are thrown. So if I go to Cloud Desktop and if I go to my tweet, so I already had this URL in my. So if I just click on this connect, and let me see whether we had tweet. So it is disabled connect. So let me see. Okay. I'm not sure why Cloud connectors are having an issue, but you can see that I have connected easily with my cursor. So it is an issue of like the Cloud Desktop, not my problem. And if I do this disconnect, maybe add custom connector, tweet tool, and okay, localhost, HTTP, localhost 3000, API MCP. So this is the URL we need to do, and if I do add, let's see what error it throws. Okay. So yeah, this is not working in the cloud desktop for the local URLs, local remote service. But if I host it, and I will get back to you after hosting what are the errors I am getting to see. But you can see this is really working out, and yeah, this is what you really need in your debugging sessions. So I will see you in the next video again, guys, and bye for now.